Hey, Robin, we're kind of dealing with a last-minute emergency here. Okay, thanks. Bye.
Okay, Amy, I can hear you just fine, by the way.
YouTube thing.
Testing 1, 2, test. Amy, can you hear me? Are you able to hear me now? Good evening. My name is Ken Reed, and I'm your moderator tonight. I'm also a board member of the local League of Women Voters, St. Petersburg area. Tonight, we are hosting a general election forum to hear from the candidates running for county commissioner. This forum is facilitated by the League of Women Voters, St. Petersburg area, and the League of Women Voters, North Pinellas chapter. The League of Women Voters is celebrating 100 years of providing voter information and protecting democracy. Please visit PinellasVotersGuide.com for more complete and unbiased information for voting on candidates. Our digital media partner tonight for the entire 5-part series is St. Pete Catalyst. We are grateful for their expertise and time to make these live virtual forums possible. I'd also like to thank our nonpartisan community co-sponsors, the ACLU Pinellas chapter, the National Organization for Women Pinellas County and West Pinellas chapters, the University of South Florida, St. Petersburg campus, the University of South Florida, St. Petersburg Center for Civic Engagement, the Clearwater Neighborhoods Coalition, and the NAACP Clearwater North Pinellas chapter. The league rules are intended to provide all candidates equal and fair representation. When both candidates decide to participate in the forum, the rules provide that the moderator asks them a series of questions. Each candidate will then have 1 minute to answer the question. At the end of the series of questions, each candidate will have 2 minutes for a closing statement. If a candidate declines to appear, we give that candidate the opportunity and his or her opponent the opportunity for providing a statement for up to 5 minutes. Now, the District 1 candidates are running at large, which means that everyone in the county can vote for them. Candidate Larry Ahern declined to appear, but provided a statement that I will read. Candidate Janet Long will be appearing and will make a 5-minute statement. The District 3 candidates are also running at large. Everyone in the county will be allowed to vote for them. Candidate Tammy Sue Vasquez declined to appear, but provided a statement that I will later read. Her opponent, candidate Charlie Justice, will be appearing and will make a 5-minute statement. District 7 is a single-seat district, which means that only people in District 7 can vote for those candidates. I'm happy to say that both candidates from District 7 will be appearing tonight and will be answering questions. Both candidates will then be given the opportunity for a closing 2-minute statement. I'd like to express my personal gratefulness for the dedication of the candidates. It's a difficult thing to go through. It's not easy to set your family and work aside and then to serve our community. Since we're in a virtual format, we are unable to take questions from the audience during the forum. The order of the candidates' closing statement was determined by drawing straws. Please note that the views expressed by the candidates do not represent those of the League of Women Voters or the forum's co-sponsors. Now let's get to the candidates. We'll start with District 1. As a reminder, candidate Ahern declined to appear. I will read a statement on his behalf. I am Larry Ahern. I want to serve you on the Pinellas County Commission. I am married to Maureen Byrne Ahern. We have 3 grown daughters, Lauren, Lindsay, and Sarah, and 1 precious granddaughter, 5-year-old Stella. I have lived in this community for nearly 40 years. Before moving here in the late 1970s, I was raised in a large family near Detroit, Michigan. After high school, I served 4 years in the United States Air Force. I then moved to Pinellas and started a small business, which I successfully ran for more than 20 years. After selling my business, I began serving on church, civic, and public boards. I also volunteered as a big brother. I then felt the call for public service and was elected to the Florida House of Representatives in 2010 and served 4 2-year terms. Realizing that I wanted to continue serving the public and responding to numerous people asking me to represent them on the Pinellas County Commission, I decided there was too much at stake not to answer the call. With the support of my wife, Maureen, and my faith, family, and friends, I am running for a seat on the Pinellas County Board of Commissioners to be a voice for the people. Pinellas County needs leaders who will listen to and work for the people. The voters in Pinellas County overwhelmingly passed term limits in 1996, yet the commission never adopted the law. My opponent had the chance to right that wrong while serving with me on the Charter Review Commission, but instead did the opposite and spoke against term limits. I will respect the people's voice and vote for term limits. I will protect your green space in your neighborhoods and support sound environmental policies that allow people to enjoy their beaches and boating. I will protect the vulnerable and assist those less fortunate with programs to instill self-sufficiency. I will vote for common sense and fiscally responsible transportation plans that don't remove car lanes and add more congestion to our roads. As a business owner myself, I know firsthand what business owners and their employees needs. They need to work. What they don't need is a county commission that overreaches, overregulates, and puts them out of business. I will listen to business owners so they can continue to be the lifeline of our economy and provide jobs in our community. With my business background, I have the experience and commitment to be accountable for every tax dollar spent. As a veteran, I have a deep respect for the rule of law. As your commissioner, I will support our sheriff, the police, and their ability to preserve your freedoms, protect your rights, and keep you safe. Public safety is government's highest priority. While lawlessness runs rampant in cities across America, I will make it my duty to keep the people and businesses in Pinellas County safe. This seat on the County Commission is an at-large seat, which means all registered voters in Pinellas can vote for this seat. I am asking for your vote, and I thank you, the League, for this opportunity. For more information about me and my campaign, visit LarryAhern.com. I pray that you and your families are healthy and happy. Thank you, and God bless. Larry Ahern. Candidate Long will now make her 5-minute statement.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Jane Long, and I'm your County Commissioner for District 1. During this year, the County Commission Day, your commission has worked as one management of a severe economic and civil unrest. Pinellas County has come together to protect and support one another, or at least we are trying. You may know that today, this morning, we listened to 3 hours of public testimony about whether or not to remove the mask mandate. At the end of that testimony, we put the mandate in place as well as the state of emergency. That state of emergency order allows federal dollars for a lot of equipment, supplies, and staff that we have needed in order to serve and protect our citizens. Now more than ever, Pinellas County needs proven, common sense on those that arise unexpectedly. We have continued to manage the COVID virus to Pinellas County's safe. Transportation and infrastructure and actually getting big things done have been one priority since I have been on the commission. And for the first time in 50 years, you may know that I was very instrumental in bringing $21.8 million back to Pinellas County from the federal government to begin the construction of our new Sunrunner line, downtown St. Petersburg, out to St. Pete Beach. What makes that such an extraordinary accomplishment is that it is a catalyst project that will begin to connect our entire region for 41 miles, all the way from downtown St. Pete through over the 275 bridge into downtown Tampa, Tampa International Airport, the university, and all the way out to Wesley Chapel. I'm very proud of those accomplishments, and I do believe that over the next 4 or 5 years, the technology will enable us to make extraordinary improvements in our public transportation options. You may know that I have been a leader in the change and resiliency issues that surround Pinellas County, to the point where in October we had 30 regional governments sign a memorandum of understanding that they would make part of their strategic plans resiliency and environmental issues print. I took that issue to the Florida Association of Counties and got statewide. So for the first time ever, Pinellas County has an officer of resilience that ensures everything we need has a tie to reducing the carbon footprint. And our penny dollars that will soon start in January of this coming year, we have $80 million that we have set aside for affordable housing. And when I talk about affordable housing, I'm talking about for our young fighters, our nurses, our graduating out of college, and our police officers and our first responders. That's critical to having a vibrant engine in our county. Is one. More of this kind of ratio among every large county in the state of Florida. 97% of the people in this county, when they are polled every year, have faith, trust, and confidence in their county commission. We have a state-of-the-art transportation Sunrunner line now, and we put a school nurse in every single school because the Florida legislature would not do so. We have not raised your taxes in the last 8 years, your taxes. We are ensuring that your families are safe. We are investing in roads, bridges, and affordable housing. And we are leading the way to finding regional solutions to all of our climate change, sea level rise issues face us. For heaven's sakes, we are surrounded by water on 3 sides. I am asking for your vote on November 3rd so that we can continue this path that we have been on for the last 8 years. I believe in science. I believe in medicine. I promise you, I will not be en masse, which even the CDC director said just yesterday is the first line of defense to defeat this awful virus that has plagued not only our state, our county, our nation, and the entire globe. So again, I'm asking for your vote on November 3rd. Janet Long, Pinellas County Commissioner, District 1. I am not afraid to talk to you face to face. I need your vote. Please vote Janet Long. You can't go wrong with Long. Thank you so much for having me this evening.
Thank you, Candidate Long. Now we go to District 3. I'd like to invite Candidate Justice to make a 5-minute statement.
Thank you for the opportunity to be with you all tonight. I appreciate that very much. I am Charlie Justice. I'm a Pinellas native. I grew up in West St. Pete, all local schools, and I worked my way through USF for my degree. I met my wife, Kathleen, and we have 2 wonderful daughters, Allison and Ahern. I got the call to public service and I was elected to the Florida legislature in 2000, and I spent 10 years there. As I was getting ready to leave Tallahassee, our Pinellas County Commission became what the St. Pete Times then called an ideological swamp. I ran to end the dysfunction of the county commission, and the voters agreed. My approach brought a new era of consensus building. We repaired relationships with our 24 city partners, and we got to work. While we partnered with the cities, we also invested in our unincorporated areas that had gone somewhat ignored. We tackled areas of poverty and invested in infrastructure for the long term. We cultivated local businesses and aided them in getting their products to market. We created the small business enterprise, keeping more of your government's purchasing power here at home. When we created the program, we went from about $250,000 a year to over $7 million of money staying with our local businesses, a big win for our local businesses and their employees. We passed local ordinances that protected employees' wages, reduced the number of drunk drivers on our road, assisted victims of human trafficking getting out of dangerous situations, and funded school nurses in every school. As chair of the Historic Preservation Board, we've added protections to local historic properties, including the Pinellas Courthouse, the Ovis Hall in Ozona, and the Battery at Fort DeSoto. We created partnerships with the PSTA, the City of Tarpon Springs, and Advent Health to give better transportation options to seniors to get their medical appointments. My work as chair of the Tampa Bay Estuary Program has led to the best water quality of Tampa Bay in over 50 years, and that means billions of dollars to the Tampa Bay economy. And my service on the Multi-County Gulf Consortium has led to millions of dollars for cleaning up Lake Seminole. We've invested in infrastructure, parks, adding green space. We've funded our first responders like never before, adding better protective gear, an updated fleet, new rescue units in East Lake, the beaches, and Fort DeSoto. We built a hurricane-resistant emergency operations center, and we partnered with St. Petersburg to build their new police headquarters and a backup 911 center. We've done all of this while not raising millage rates and keeping the lowest debt ratio of any urban county in Florida. When I was chair, I put an end to the corruption that you read about at the Construction and Licensing Board. We've streamlined county operations. We've improved our partnerships with our Pinellas cities and our regional neighbors. Our efforts have met millions in state and federal funding for your priorities. We know that we need to do this work to provide the traditional local government services that you count on, but we also need it during times of emergency. Whether it's that September hurricane that we brace for or a once-in-a-lifetime global pandemic, our prioritized budget is based on doing what's right for Pinellas. And while our budgets have gone up, we still maintain staffing levels from over 30 years ago. And that also means listening to our scientists and our experts, not just the loudest voices in the room or the loudest voices on a Zoom. That's a lot of important work that we've got done, and we're not finished. We want to continue our good work in the Lellman community. We want to increase access to affordable housing for every income level. We want to cultivate and support our local businesses and improve transportation so we can all get to where we want to go just a little bit faster. There's still important work to do, and I hope you'll join us. Please visit charliejustice.com to learn more about me, the campaign, and to join our team. I appreciate the league and everyone else hosting tonight, and I appreciate you tuning in. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Candidate Justice. I will now read a statement from Candidate Vasquez. I was born in Indianapolis, Indiana on August 2nd, 1972 to Rab and Polly Poling. I have one sibling, an older sister who resides in Kentucky. My parents both passed over in the last 2 years. I've been married to my husband, Mike Vasquez, for almost 12 years, and I have a wonderful stepson, Michael Jr., age 23, who recently graduated from FGCU in 2019 with his business finance degree and currently serves as the senior manager at our business, Bark Life Inc. in Seminole. We live in Treasure Island. My family has always been aware of local and federal politics and were very patriotic. That was handed down to me. I was always told you can't complain
Joe, we're down. I don't know why, but vMix just shut itself off. Yep, vMix just shut itself down. Yeah, can you tell him to refresh the browser? I have to bring vMix back up.
Okay, you're in picture too. Yeah. Welcome back to our forum. I had a little technical issue. I'm going to start candidate Vasquez's statement over again. And thank you for your patience. I was born in Indianapolis, Indiana on August 2nd, 1972 to Rab and Polly Poling. I have one sibling, an older sister who resides in Kentucky. My parents both passed over the last 2 years. I've been married to my husband, Mike Vasquez, for almost 12 years, and we have a wonderful stepson, Michael Jr., age 23, who recently graduated from FGCU in 2019 with his business finance degree, and he currently serves as the senior manager at our business, Bark Life Inc. in Seminole. We live in Treasure Island. My family has always been aware of local and federal politics and were very patriotic. That was handed down to me. I was always told you can't complain if you're not paying attention. And if you have a complaint, be prepared to do something about it. During the last several months, circumstances related to the COVID outbreak made many stop and pay attention. Virtual county commission meetings opened my eyes to the lack of respect many of our elected officials have for their constituents and their livelihoods. My small business was shut down, not by the president or our governor, but by our county commission. After disputing the legality of shutting us down, the sheriff deemed our business essential, and we were reopened after 2 weeks. My personal experience left me deeply concerned about other businesses shut down that did not even realize their right to remain open. I want to be their voice and represent all those in our county who deserve fair representation. We need a county commission that understands each of us, small business owners and constituents, and who carry this county on our backs. It is our small businesses that embody the heart, resilience, prosperity, and promise for an even stronger community. Together, we can make Pinellas even better. And now we turn to District 8 candidates, and I'll be introducing candidate Rene Flowers and candidate Maria Scruggs. I will ask each candidate a question, and they will alternate responses. Each will have 1 minute for a response. I will begin the questions with candidate Flowers. I'd like to welcome you both here tonight. So the first question for candidate Flowers is this. What are the top 3 countywide issues that the commission needs to address?
Thank you for having me to the League of Women Voters and also to our moderator and to represent District 7 as your county commissioner. The top 3 concerned areas would be certainly affordable housing. That has been an issue not just in the state of Florida, Pinellas County, but throughout the nation. The second would be healthcare. Pinellas County has done, I think, a wonderful job in providing funding through the community development block grant sources, social action funding, as well as its social services arm. But we know that there are so many others out there who still do not have health care and need that assistance. And I believe the third is economic development when it comes to making sure that we are attracting new businesses here that are paying living wages so that our residents will be able to live, work, and play in the same place that they've been raised in and grew up in for so many years. So I believe that those are the top 3 concerns in that order that I provided for you: affordable housing, healthcare services, and transportation.
Thank you, candidate Flowers. And now candidate Scruggs, the same question.
Good evening, and thank you very much, League of Women Voters, for having me this evening. The top 3 priorities that I would want to bring to the commission in representing District 7 are the fact that over 60,000 new residents in Pinellas County have filed for unemployment within the last 2 months for the first time. The second focus has to be on how do we help rebuild small and minority-owned businesses. And then 3, the affordable housing issue. We currently have a situation where that even if we push for a minimum wage of 15, it still would not accommodate the cost of affordable of rental, even if individuals chose to rent in Pinellas County. The minimum wage that one would be able to, in order to pay for the median rent here in Pinellas, would be about $19.28 an hour. And focusing on District 7.
That minute flies by pretty fast, I know. So
yes, it does.
All right, now I'd like to start our second question, and we'll reverse the order, and I'll ask candidate Scruggs first. What do you think is a key problem for District 7, and what would you as commissioner do?
I think one of the key issues for District 7 is because it's a single member district, the issues have often been left off the table. District 7 contains 3 out of the 5 most economically challenged zip codes in Pinellas County. And what I would be doing is placing a strategic focus on the economic opportunities that need to occur within District 7.
Thank you so much. And now, candidate Flowers, same question.
Thank you. One of the things that unfortunately has been a continual concern has been the equitable distribution of resources in District 7. District 7 encompasses Lellman, which is certainly an area that could use some additional support. And I believe the CRA that's been established there has in fact provided some of those quality of life resources that they're very much so in need of. But also when you look at Gulfport, Kenneth City, as well as South St. Petersburg, we still are lagging in the area of economic development. And even the CRA that I'm so very grateful that Commissioner Ken Welch supported and the city of St. Petersburg certainly partnered with, we still realize that as a result of the number of years of lack of service, we still need so much more to be done in that area. And so I want to focus on expanding the CRA and having accountability for those resources and build upon the Small Business Development Center for small minority businesses.
Thank you, candidate Flowers. And again, we'll reverse the order, and I'll start the third question with you, candidate Flowers. The city of St. Pete has recently approved a plan to address food deserts in the area. According to Tampa Bay Times, Feeding Tampa Bay has reported that more than 134,000 people are food insecure in Pinellas County. What would you as commissioner do to help address this problem?
Thank you for asking that question because once COVID-19 hit, I was able to assemble 7 different organizations, and we provided 2 meals a day to individuals in South St. Petersburg until Pinellas County Schools was able to get up and running. I believe that we need to focus on having a real affordable grocery store in the heart of the Midtown community. And we all know the history behind the Sweet Bay Plaza, later going into Walmart. The RFP just recently went out. It's my understanding that someone has been selected through that RFP process to go back in and provide not just a grocery store, but also some affordable housing accommodations. We also need to work with some of the corner stores, making sure that they're carrying fresh produce and build upon the services that we have with some of our youth in the community, with Carla Bristol looking at growing fresh produce and showing individuals how to grow their own produce. So we've got to do a better job about expanding our grocery stores in South St. Pete.
Thank you, Candidate Flowers. And now, Candidate Scruggs, the same question.
Thank you. One of the things that we have to do differently on the county commission is to think more strategically about how we address those needs that impact individuals. Yes, we certainly need the support of grocery stores that are providing the type of healthy options, food options for our community. But prior to that, we've got to focus on the economic opportunities that allow individuals to afford the healthy options. We've done the grocery store challenge. We've done it 2 or 3 times, and we've made the same mistake. We have not focused on the very issue that denies individuals to afford the food that they need, and because we've not paid attention to the cost, the minimum wages, we've not paid attention to the economic opportunities in District 7.
Thank you, Candidate Scruggs. And now for the 4th question. Candidate Scruggs, what makes you the most qualified candidate for this position?
What makes me the most qualified candidate for this position is that I'm running in this race, even though I'm a registered Democrat and have been for life, as a no party affiliate. And one of the reasons that I'm doing that, because myself, many of the residents in Pinellas County are simply over the people, the partisan politics that keeps the focus of individuals divided. I bring 40 years of public sector experience to the county commission. It is no longer acceptable just to sit in a seat and collect a paycheck. What I bring is 40 years of work at different levels, ranging from law enforcement, community corrections, public housing, early childhood education. And it is the depth and breadth of working as an employee in the public sector that helps me make the better decisions from a policy and from a budgetary standpoint.
Thank you, Candidate Scruggs. Candidate Flowers, the same question.
Thank you. Ever since I've been an elected official, since I took office as a St. Petersburg City Council member, I've always held a full-time job. And that full-time job has paid my bills. And the money that I receive from my government work, I've donated great portions of that. Because it's not about saying what I want to do and how I want to figure things out. It's about making sure that they happen. $68 million to build new schools and renovate new schools within Pinellas County was no easy feat. Serving as the vice chair of the Census Committee for Pinellas County, making sure that every person is counted, and we're well above 60%. That will mean over $43 billion coming into our state that will provide the healthcare services, that will provide economic development opportunities, that will provide for affordable housing. Making sure that we are inclusive and we're looking at the bigger picture when it comes to equity throughout our community for quality of life, as well as provisions in your professional life. So I've proven that I'm certainly ready and qualified for this job.
Thank you again. Now, the next question will again go to Candidate Flowers.
Mm-hmm.
How do you think the Pinellas County Commissioners can address the low infection rate of COVID-19 and maintain that low rate, while also assisting businesses in remaining open?
I've had to do this as it relates to reopening schools, and I had a chance to hear the conversation on today. The reason that we have less than a 1% infection rate at this point is because we've instituted the CDC guidelines, which include safe distancing, hand washing, wearing your face mask, and following all of those CDC guidelines. And I believe as long as we do that, we will continue to see that infection rate go down. We will see fewer hospitalizations and certainly fewer individuals admitted into ICU. The issue that we're having is that persons who are not observing that, they're the ones, unfortunately, that are contracting the virus and then passing it along to others. I believe that the Pinellas County Commission has done a wonderful job helping to distribute PPE. I had a chance to pass out masks that were provided to me through the Pinellas County government, making sure that persons who couldn't afford those things had them within their grasp. So as long as we continue to do that, we're going to see a continual decrease in the infection rate.
And thank you, Candidate Flowers. Candidate Scruggs, the same question.
I think one of the things that we have to recognize with COVID-19 is that we're dealing with a pandemic that not many have had an opportunity to experience. And as I said in an earlier statement, this is not Hurricane Preparedness 101. We have got to continue to follow the CDC guidelines. One of the things I would hope that the commission does, as opposed to having the sheriff of the face of COVID-19, that we hear from our local medical professionals. I think that one of the things that will help continue the infectious rate to go down is to people to have a trust in the individuals that they're seeing that are sharing information, that and knowing that we have not politicized this COVID-19 in Pinellas County. We're moving in the right direction, but I think in order for us to continue, we've got to be consistent with the CDC guidelines.
Thank you very much for that. Now, our sixth question is to candidate Scruggs. The Ready for 100 program is a national Sierra Club campaign to help municipalities transition to 100% renewable energy by 2050. Would you support Pinellas County's participation in the Ready for 100 program? Why or why not?
Absolutely. One of the things that I think it's important for local municipalities to focus on is that this issue of sustainability is got to be an issue that rises to the priority of the county commission. And I would absolutely support this program in hopes that we would begin to continue to think more strategically about this whole issue of sustainability in Pinellas.
Thank you very much. And now, candidate Flowers, the same question to you.
Thank you. Not only do I support the Ready for 100, I've been endorsed by the local Sierra Club as well as the state of Florida Sierra Club because of the work that I've done in partnership with Congressman Chris and others when it comes to being environmentally friendly. Supporting the continuation of buy down values for the installation of solar, working even with our young individuals in the community to talk about how can we recycle and reuse things, moving towards compressed natural gas vehicles, not just for PSTA, but Pinellas County Schools has also moved towards electric vehicles. And so there are a number of things that we're doing, and I will continue to support as your next commissioner when it comes to looking at what we're doing to save our environment, because we've seen just recently where 2 of the ice shelves have shifted, and that's going to cause a rise in sea level. And it certainly is going to become an issue with the state of Florida. Last but certainly not least, we want to make sure that we have a planet here for our future. So I'm excited about it.
Thank you, candidate Flowers. My next question is a little complex, so please bear with me. The county has allocated $15 million to be spent over the next 10 years for land preservation, which, given current property values, would not appear to go far enough in achieving these sufficient preservation targets. A recent example was the Gladys Douglas estate. The county had the opportunity to purchase it, but lost it to a competing bidder. How would you prioritize the protection of Pinellas County's remaining green space? And how would you procure additional funding for example, Florida Forever funds or others for land conservation? And to start with, this is for candidate Flowers.
Thank you so much, because that situation came up before Pinellas County Schools asking if we would be able to purchase it, and we just simply did not have the funds. But I believe that with the county partnering with the neighboring cities and pooling their resources together, they will be able to put together a bid that would certainly weigh far better than that which developers would be able to do. I think also when you're looking at the Conservation Corps, out of the federal government and funding projects through that, when you're looking at the Forest and Wildlife Industry Services and determining whether or not they fall within those guidelines to draw down some of those dollars, that may assist you as well. And just simply doing a long range plan. We don't have very much land left here in Pinellas County, as well as the state of Florida. And for those lands that we do have left, that certainly have proven to be wildlife conservatory areas, I believe we should do all that we can to preserve those areas. So it's going to take a concerted effort and mobilizing funds from a number of resources.
And thank you. Now, candidate Scruggs, same question, please.
The primary question to being able to preserve green space and recognizing that this county is 90% built, 99 probably percent built out, is regionalization. How do we look, and when we talk COVID-19, one of the key strategies that we've got to think differently is moving away from focusing on strategies that focus just on Pinellas County and focusing in a silo. The way that we began to build the resources in order to take on issues and prioritize issues like land preservation is that we've got to look at regionalization of looking at our planning efforts as well as our funding efforts for initiatives on this scale.
Thank you for that. Now, our next question is, the hospitality and tourism industries have been hit hard by the pandemic. What strategies or tactics would you recommend on the commission to help individuals affected by these layoffs? And this will be for candidate Scruggs.
As you have indicated, the industry where my daughter earned her degrees in hospitality, one of the things that we're going to have to recognize is that when we look at the key industries, the leading industries in Pinellas, we're going to have to do a much better job of linking those jobs to the people that need them. We recognize that the tourist industry is the backbone of this county, but when we look at the reality of the impact of COVID-19, it is going to force us to shift our focus on the other 5 key industries in this community, and then looking at how do we retrain our individuals whom have lost jobs, and then how do we link those opportunities to our education, to our Pinellas, our public school systems, to our local colleges, and to our local universities to ensure that individuals are properly trained for these positions within these industries.
And now, candidate Flowers, the same question.
Thank you. This is kind of personal for me because I know Gary and Mary Renfro, who own a hotel out on the beach, and they certainly have been very worried, especially when they had to close due to COVID-19, because it's not just jobs on a national level or regional level. It's looking people right in the face who you know and see each and every day and provide those services for. Pinellas Technical College with Pinellas County Schools does a wonderful job with its industry that deals with culinary arts, that deals with front end and back end services. And so I believe that those restaurants and those areas are going to come back. We have wonderful chambers of commerce, the St. Petersburg Chamber of Commerce, ClearPack in Clearwater, as well as the Tampa Bay Regional Chamber, who continue to advertise and recruit businesses to come here, whether it's for their conferences or other things. It's just a matter of making sure that people understand that they'll be safe when they come and making those provisions until we can, in fact, find a cure for the pandemic that we're going through. So we'll be back. The restaurant industry will be back.
Thank you, candidate Flowers. My next question, and I think it'll be our final question before we do the closing statements. What is your position on the disproportionately negative impacts on climate change on low-income and minority communities? And how can policy remedy the impact? And that will be for candidate Flowers. Thank you.
Thank you. I was waiting to see which one. Well, always, anytime that you have policies or shifts, changes in the way that we finance or fund or structure things, those that are Black and brown skin bear the brunt of either accessing services timely or even receiving services timely. So when we are talking about implementing whether it's solar energy, especially when we're talking about recycling or when we're talking about renewable energy sources, we have to always think about those individuals who may not be able to afford some of those things. And so what would either be the alternative, or how can we slowly feed them into that process? There are several programs. I had a chance to talk with someone from the real estate office on yesterday, and there are several programs that will help fund and finance and do a forgiveness loan after 10 years for things like solar energy that will help reduce costs, that will allow persons to put dollars back into their pockets. It's a long answer, short time.
Thank you, candidate Flowers. And now candidate Scruggs, same question.
Well, Ken, I think one of the things before we can talk about a particular strategy on how we address climate change in Black and brown communities, we first got to put Black and brown communities on the table. One of the things in my role as the former president of the St. Petersburg branch NAACP, and sustainability being one of the main focuses of the NAACP, it was very difficult to secure volunteers who profess to have an issue in climate change and in the whole issue of sustainability to be able to take on a very basic premise of how do we resolve these issues is first assessing it and making sure that when we talk about climate change and when we talk about sustainability, that we're very strategic in recognizing that Black and brown communities have a much broader and more difficult barrier to cross because they just have not been on the table in this discussion.
Right. Thank you so much for that. I just want to say I really appreciate the thoughtful answers that you both provided to the questions. It's important that everybody sees who you are and how you think and how you express yourselves. And I really appreciate you taking the time to join us for this. Now, each candidate will have 2 minutes for a closing statement. The order was determined by drawing straws, and candidate Flowers will go first. You have 2 minutes.
Well, thank you so much to the League of Women Voters. I'm a member of the League of Women Voters as well as the National Organization of Women for putting this on. Ken, thank you so much. You've been an absolutely wonderful moderator for this evening. And thank you to my opponent for being here this evening as well. I believe that we have some times ahead of us that will require a lot of strategizing, partnership building, relationship building, and certainly moving forward with whatever it is that the solution is going to be. And I've exhibited, even over the last few months since April, beyond that, but particularly the last few months since April, that I'm not only qualified to do that, but I most certainly am the person that you would want in that seat. It's not going to be easy bringing us out of COVID-19. The Pinellas County Commission, as it relates to their budget for next year, they're going to be on good footing. And that's because of the CARES Act funding that provided about $12.3 million additional dollars into their budget. They have gone down to $2.6 billion for an overall budget. But the year after that, and the next 3 to 5 years are going to be very challenging. But I believe that when we're partnering with municipal governments and when we're making sure that those unincorporated areas that the county is specifically responsible for, we'll be able to come out of this and come out on top. We've shown that we can work together through very trying times. My service as president of the Florida League of Cities, my service as your school board member, and certainly my service in municipal government for 8 years with the city of St. Petersburg have all uniquely prepared me for this challenge. I'm from this community, born and raised, and I'm so excited to still be a member here. I've raised my children here, and I have grandchildren here. So I'm not going anywhere anytime soon. I am vested and invested in this community, and I believe I've shown that beyond measure. I've been endorsed by a number of organizations. Feel free to visit my webpage at youknowrene.com, and you'll see who's endorsed me. But more importantly, I will be so honored if you would endorse me and vote for Rene Flowers on November 3rd.
Thank you, Candidate Flowers. And now I'd like to invite Candidate Scruggs for her final closing statement.
Thank you, Ken. Thank you, League of Women Voters. This has certainly been a joy. I'm running as a NPA for the Pinellas County Commission District 7 because, as I stated earlier, people in District 7 are over the partisan politics. The numbers bear out the fact that while we've had individuals who we know, what we haven't had is individuals running and representing the people on what they know. What I bring to the table is over 40 years of public sector experience which get results. I don't have a long list of organizations that I have sat on, because what I've what I've come to know, that when you're talking about strategic planning or when you're managing for results, it requires a strategic focus. To merely have a resume with lifting a lot of memberships has not changed the fact that over 75% of African children cannot read proficiently in District 7. What it has not changed is that over 13% of the population in Pinellas County are unemployed. Who you know won't change is the fact that individuals go to college and come back home and still cannot afford to live within their meat, or live or afford a house or rent in Pinellas County. I'm asking that on November 3rd or before, that what the residents of District 7 recognize is that we can no longer have business as usual. We must bring on a representative on the county commission who has a track record of working and advocating for the people. Please consider voting for me. Please visit me at www.scruggs4pccd7.com. Thank you again.
Thank you both so much for participating in tonight's event. It's obvious to everybody who watched you that your passion for the community and your interest in the issues is there. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts on how to be involved with the community and participate as a commissioner. I can't express my thanks deep enough. Now, in closing, I do want to remind everyone of some very important upcoming election deadlines. At the League of Women Voters, we don't care how you vote, we just want you to vote. And the best way to start is to get registered first. You have to register to vote on or before October 5th. Please refer to the website at the League of Women Voters for St. Petersburg area for information on how and where to register. Please register now to vote by mail. You can request a mail-in ballot anytime between now and October 24th. We strongly encourage you to request your mail-in ballot well before the deadline. Please mail your ballot at least 2 weeks before Election Day. You can also drop off your ballot or vote in an early polling location prior to Election Day. On Election Day, your ballot may only be dropped off at a supervisor of elections office before 7 p.m. A recording of this forum will be provided with closed captions, and it will be available on the League of Women Voters St. Petersburg area Facebook page and on the YouTube channel. My name is Ken Reed. It's been a pleasure to be the host and moderator of this event. On behalf of the League of Women Voters and our amazing co-sponsors, thank you for taking the time to participate in this event and exercising your right to vote. Please join me next week for the Supervisor of Elections Forum and a live question and answer program where you can join me in asking questions to our voting experts. Thank you again, and good night.